What's up, Rotogrinders? Dean here at Dean7904. If you want to get all technical on me, that is the daily fantasy handle around the industry. We're actually a couple minutes late. Good Lord. It's 5:12 on the East Coast, 2:12 West Coast, 4:12 Tennessee time. So, of course, that means it's time for the flagship show here at Rotogrinders, and it's called Grinderslive. I'm talking especially fast today because it's a 13-game slate. No time for shenanigans. No time for pleasantries. Let's say hello to Kirk Dees. Kirk Dees brought his notepad. This slate is so big, 13-gamer. Kirk Dees said, you know what I need? I need a notebook, a notepad, a pen, a pencil. Show the people your notepad. Look at that. Ooh, can I freeze that and like enlarge it? And
really, it's really kind of embarrassing.
Hey, that's cheese style too. You mentioned the pre-show. And
it's the cheese metrics.
He's done pretty well.
Yes, so you got to follow the lead there. But I like to write things down just on overall game metrics because then it sticks in my head and I have something easy. And then I use the computer for everything else.
We debated pre-show. We were thinking about it. 13-game slate. Like we want to make a best use of our 1 hour, and like should we do game by game? Should we have like an overall large conversation as far as this slate? And we're gonna do game by game, but we're gonna like hit the fast forward button on some games that we're really not all that terribly interested in. Of course, some of that stuff may change depending on the news flow. For a 13-game slate, actually, it's probably not completely. There's not a ton out there. Like there is news, but I was expecting more for 13 games. Basically, everybody playing the association, with the exception of 4 teams. This is what we have as of right now. This is what we're monitoring. If you missed it, Colin Sexton's going to be out for a while with his knee. Love and Markkanen, they're still out. Okoro expected back and available for what it's worth. Kyle Birch is out with his knee for Toronto. Of course, if you guys missed this one, Pascal Siakam is back for the Raptors. Your boy Jaylen Brown out with a hamstring for a while too for your Celtics. Middleton and Lopez are still out for Milwaukee. They're on the back-to-back in New York. Facing New York, Mitch Robb and Nerlens Noel, the 2 bigs for New York, are both questionable. One is a hip, one is a knee. If they both don't go, we might see a bunch of minutes of Taj Gibson at still minimum. I'm not really sure how useful he can be in this slate, but maybe. Killian Hayes is probable with his thumb. Houston, KPJ's got a thigh, so he's questionable. And Sengun, he's not feeling particularly well. He's also questionable. The rookie, PJ Washington for Charlotte, he's still out with his elbow. Brandon Ingram for the 19th time in a row, well, whatever, 7th time in a row, 5th, he's questionable with his hip. Herbert Jones also questionable with his ankle. Dylan Brooks, he's questionable, but like it looks like he's going to be back. We're expecting him to come back tonight for Memphis. Nothing official, but he probably comes back to play. Halliburton is questionable with his back for Sacramento, and one of the guys that got the bump for that also got hurt last game. Terrence Davis questionable with his ankle. Jakob Poeltl still out for health protocol reasons. KBD, that's Bates Diop, is out with his back for the Spurs. Not a huge thing, just sort of throwing it out there. We have Karis LeVert not playing basketball tonight for Indiana. Malcolm Brogdon has not been feeling well, but he is expected to come back tonight. They are facing Denver. Of course, you guys know the Joker is out. So they're 3 biggest usage players, throughout on this team. Obviously, Murray's been out the whole season long. MPJ's been out. Joker is out. So that's where we're going to look at for a ton of value. For some reasons, the sites just did not adjust salaries. They did not anticipate what's going to happen there. Lakers, Rondo's questionable. I wrote that down for some reason. Austin Reeves also. My Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo, he's got a knee. He's questionable to like game time decision. We talked about that one pre-show too. Like you see like multiple reports. Maybe he seems like he's likely to play. Same deal with Tyler Hero, who's got a back. Strus is out with his knee. PJ Tucker's got a shoulder, so he's questionable. And Markieff Morris is out with his neck. What happened to Markieff Morris? Did you catch that?
I certainly caught that. Yes.
Oh,
the next question is what's going to happen to Markieff Morris?
Oh no!
From the Jokic brothers.
Are you following them on Twitter? We have no time for this, but
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's funny. It's fun.
No, I know. I asked the question and I'm like, what am I doing? We're going off the rails immediately.
I mean, those guys looks like mob, like a.
I don't want to make any allegations. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I mean,
I'd be scared, is what I'm saying, if I started something.
I would not want to mess with the Jokic brothers. All right, what up, chat? Do you see? We didn't really say hello just yet. Do subscribe, get notifications. Know when we're going live. We appreciate that. Fire off your questions. We're gonna do our best to get to your questions, and if nothing else, I'm gonna see your questions like as we're going through. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on it. Of course, Devin's compiling them, but if they are relevant to the conversation we're having, maybe I'll just ask them on the fly. We'll see how that goes, but. Curtis, all those body parts I threw out, what's the most important thing? Well, what can really flip this slate in its head? Obviously, it's already been flipped with the Jokic deal, not playing Denver, playing super thin, and all their players are really cheap, essentially. General thoughts as far as that's where the slate starts, right? The Denver Nuggets and the cheapies there.
Yeah, it's which ones, how many, because I mean, it's a professional NBA basketball team with cheap players that are going to be playing a game tonight. Yeah, that's where we start. So be interesting to hear which way do you want to go with those guys. Then we've got other situations, obviously, as well, with like the Bucks. Even though they're on the second night of a back-to-back, everyone likes to think maybe they'll be resting guys. Maybe they won't. There's been no indication of them resting anything yet. So I think we have to assume there's a go. And Knicks aren't the greatest matchup in the world, but there's definitely some plays in there. The news that I'm kind of waiting for, well, Brandon Ingram certainly, because I've been playing Josh Hart every time that he's not in, and that's been pretty profitable so far.
Does Ingram just kill Hart fully or just somewhat?
I think somewhat, but on the higher end of the spectrum of that. I mean, there's a lot of shots. There's a lot of defensive plays. I mean, he's going to do his thing. He can play big minutes anyway even with Ingram, but he's not going to get as many of the shot opportunities. I mean, they just don't really have any creators. And so he's out there attacking the hoop right now in that situation. J-Vals and Nickeil Alexander-Walker does his thing. But other than that, they have like no playmakers on that team. So he steps up and fills that void. Kevin Porter Jr. is a big one. Not so much in like the plugging in another guard, but like for like, people might think that, oh, maybe DJ Augustine will start. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't think it really matters that much. I think really where it matters is I think we'll see is who's going to get all the shots, right? And all the assist opportunities and whatnot. And I think a guy like Jalen Green would really become a lot better looking. Jayshawn Tate would certainly improve. Christian Wood.
Somebody has a revenge game in that game. Christian Wood, you just said it.
Yeah, Christian Wood. I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking automatically on the other side.
Yeah. So that we have that in our what if. Everything. One of the things that we have for premium, one of the many tools we have, many other articles, and all the good stuff you guys can use. And hey, if you want to have at it, you want to use it at your own leisure, not just like whatever Devin's throwing up on the screen. Get yourself $10 out the first month. Basketball, just basketball. You just want NBA, by all means, have at it. You want college basketball, NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB when it comes back around, MMA, golf, $10 off that way as well. Links are in the chat. Got everything with sport, every sport with the exception, I believe, NASCAR. NASCAR's a la carte. What do we have here as far as the what if? Like, what if Porter sits? We have what if Ingram sits, which, yeah, if you look at what if Ingram sits, then trying to see what actually would matter. Temple doesn't really make a huge difference. I mean, he's playable.
Devontae Graham certainly gets a boost. And Josh Hart certainly gets a boost, and J-Val gets a little boost, but J-Val's a great play anyway.
Yeah, Valanciunas is really interesting, and there's going to be a lot of guys that are like good plays or at least playable that are low owned in the slate. The third one, by the way, was Halliburton. If Halliburton sits, but that's a tricky one because we don't even know with Davis either, because Davis is questionable as well. All right. That said, got all the good stuff out of the way. Let's break it down game by game, and we're going to do our best to fly through the stuff that we don't find particularly important. And that sets up the first game for me. 210.5 is a total in Orlando and O-Town. The Magic are 10-point dogs to Brooklyn. You can always play Harden. He hasn't been great this year. You can always play Durant. If I'm playing one of the two, it's Durant. Probably not playing either. And our Orlando, I don't believe I'm prioritizing anybody. What do you have for me as far as this game?
I think there's this game's going to go very overlooked, right? So this is one of the early games to start. There's like still some news left to trickle in. People aren't going to be playing this game really for the most part. Kevin Durant is always in competition for top stud on the slate. He could definitely go off in this spot. Cole Anthony has been balling. That price is a little steep on sites, but we're looking at, and he just put up 50 against Utah, right? He's clearly stepped in. He looks a lot better this year. His confidence is through the roof. He's playing really well. Brooklyn has lapsed on defense. Wendell Carter Jr. is a big that could certainly have a good time against Brooklyn. So I think there are some plays in here, and I think Harden, as the price keeps coming down, you're going to hit that situation where he's finally going to put it together and go off, and you're going to be in GPP contention at the end of the night. So you can always play him, but I mean, obviously his recent form is not the most desirable thing. So I think that this is a good game for some GPPs tonight, because I think it's going to the ownership's going to kind of plummet on this one. And, and I don't have a lot of confidence in Brooklyn, burying Orlando.
No, but even like you said, Anthony's been great. And I liked Anthony last year, and I'm happy for him. He's the best interview in basketball. He's a lot of fun. But his price is kind of sort of adjusted, I think. I'm not sure. There probably is still some room, sure. Like you can catch him on a peak night. But 13 games, and I don't know. I get it for tournaments and all that. And I just took a peek at our ownership stuff on DK. The highest projected owned player in this game is Durant at 9.1K. On the Orlando side, it's Wendell Carter at 7%. And then it kind of goes down from there, but which is basically speaks to what you're saying. Joe Harris at 4.9%. Like he's been disappointing. You're basically betting on him hitting like 4 or 5 threes or 6 threes, which you can do, but hasn't been great. LMA's had his moments, but I'm not throwing that dart in a 13 gamer. You got anything else here?
Nope. Let's go.
All right. This is one of the more interesting games, at least the Cleveland side. 209 is the total. The Cavs are home to Washington. They're 3-point dogs. We talk about losing Sexton. They don't really have a lot of depth. Okoro is back. I am curious to see how many minutes they give Okoro tonight. I don't think that fully mucks stuff up. Rubio was spectacular his last game. I wouldn't bank on him hitting 8 of 9 threes or something silly like that. But he's a competent shooter. He's good assist man. Decent on steals as well too. And the price is not fully adjusted. I'm a fan of Mobley. I think Mobley's a stud. I think he's the rookie of the year. I think that's going to happen. Hopefully, we may have wagered on it. And if he's going to get the defense of like Kyle Kuzma, come on. Mobley's one of those guys that may work his way into one of my lineups tonight. I'm only making several lineups. I'm not making my usual 8 or 9. I'm making 4. And I think Mobley cracks at least one of them. What's your thought as far as the Cavs? And Washington is just sort of there. They're the generals. Like, I'm not playing anybody. You can play Beal if you want to in tournaments, but I'm not playing anybody in Washington.
Yeah, I think Jaren Allen, Evan Mobley are both really strong plays. They're priced. You can still play them on all sites. I think there's a lot more room now available with Laurie marking off the floor. Obviously, Kevin Love out, as you said, and with Sexton, who's a huge shot creator out. So that and it's like you're subbing out Sexton, you're putting in Rubio, and what does Rubio do? Is he passes, right? He dishes, right? So like all these guys are going to see increased usage from the offensive end. So I like them all. I like Darius Garland a lot. I mean, he's been fine this season, with 25% usage with Sexton on the floor. I think he should, he'll be the guard who'll be creating shots in this game. So those are all good plays in my opinion. I don't really have much love for any of the Washington, although Bradley Beal certainly could find himself in a good spot. I mean, you can say that every time. No thanks on Kyle Kuzma. Spencer, like it'd basically be the guard. So like I think Dinwiddie, he's going to be extremely low owned, and Bradley Beal but I would run those back. If you're looking for a run back for some of the other guys that I like on the Cavs side.
Do you feel comfortable on a 13-game slate rostering Ricky Rubio at 50% ownership? That's the projection on FanDuel. That is our projection. 49.7 if I'm rounding up. 5.2K on DK. On FanDuel, he is 5.5K. Like it's, he's too cheap, but there's many routes to go. It's an interesting little conundrum, but I think it's pretty good chalk. Like, yes.
I think it's good chalk. I mean, he's playing well. He's gonna play huge minutes, and they just don't have many other options for him. And it's a fine matchup. This game should play. It is a pace up spot for the Cavs. Washington has played decent defense this year, but I don't think they're a defensive juggernaut by any means. So I think it's pretty good chalk. But on tournaments, I would look to get underweight.
Rockets at home to Detroit, 210.5 is the total. Houston is a 4-point dog here. No, 4-point favorite. We're not really sure about KPJ. We both talked about this before the show. We both think he's not going to play, but we'll see. Stay tuned on that. And yeah, in the chat, there's one more narrative for the people. Michael mentioned number 1 versus number 2, Cunningham versus Green. There's one more narrative for you. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, and Green's going to win this battle. I love Jalen Green. I think the sky's the limit for this kid. So Green will be the guy I'm going to. Plus, you get the nice situation if Kevin Porter Jr. is out, then I would distribute a bunch of the usage his way. So Jalen Green is in play for me tonight, big time.
I'm pulling up our ownership stuff as well, specific to this game and specific to a site. On FanDuel, Cunningham is still a little bit too cheap, and like this seems like a team that you could, play well against. This Houston team's not very good, obviously. I know he's missed a pile of shots, but maybe he gets on the right side of variance. He was the number 1 pick for a reason. He hit 40% threes in college. The kid can shoot. It's been a little off so far, but jitters and injury and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much I need him, but the price is pretty good at 4.8. We're looking at 12% ownership on FanDuel. It's the highest percent owned player on that slate, in that game. And on DK, when you consider the prices, it changes to Cunningham is 10%, but we have Jeremy Grant at 11.2, Tate at 10.7. Who's your favorites amongst those 3? Grant, Tate, or Cunningham?
Grant's my guy. So if you look at overall game metrics, so first of all, it's the huge pace up spot for the Pistons, right? Like the Rockets are flying. They're first in pace, and they're gonna be running this one. They also give up a ton of defensive stat, 28th in opponent blocks per game, 30th in opponent steals per game. And the Rockets are bad enough that the Pistons should be able to stay in this game. And that's what you're banking on with Jeremy Grant, right? You need him to stay, and you need those fourth quarter minutes for him.
Yeah.
But like, if this game is competitive, he has the ability to go off. He will be shooting his threes, picking up blocks and steals, and just, really makes for a good play on like Yahoo and FanDuel.
All right, moving on.
Yep.
Your Boston Celtics are home to the Toronto Raptors. 206 is the total. Boston 3-point favorites here. We mentioned Brown being out. It's we got Siakam back on the other side, kind of mucking stuff up. In a 1-game sample, we saw Siakam destroy the usage of Scotty Barnes. Who knows how it's going to go going forward? Just kind of keep an eye on that small sample. This is one of those games where, I think the best play in this game is the Demolition Man, Dennis Schroeder. He's got probably the best price. No?
Yeah, he does. He's popping in a lot of optimal stuff. He's 6,100 on DK. I think he's fine. His ownership's not going to get too out of whack. I don't know. I just don't see the massive upside with him. I think you got to go to like Tatum in this one. You got to go to like potentially either Horford or Robert Williams from that side. Schroeder, I think, is fine, and definitely for like cash formats is fine. But I would look to be underweight in tournaments on him.
FAV's got a pretty good price on DK at 7.6K, and this is probably a good moment to take I don't know if you looked at the DK prices as far as the studs. There's inflation. There's a price hike across the board. Giannis Antetokounmpo is 12.3K. Jokic, well, he's not playing, but he's 11.8. Curry up to 11.7. Luka at 11.4. Like Luka was like 10ish. It's like all these guys got to bump at least $500, $700, $800 or so. And then we have a bunch of cheapies. Like, do you have a thought on that as far as how you deal with it? Like, maybe you fire off the cheapies and you happen to have some extra money. It's like, well, I guess I can sort of overspend, but on these players that are still really good, but just a little bit, raw points come into play is kind of the point. So general thoughts as far as that, because, I'm sure you notice all these studs, a lot of them are just like $500, $600, $700 more than they have in the past. It's got to be the highest price on Giannis all season, 12.3.
Yeah, and then there's also the potential for limited minutes if they want to rest him a little bit on the back-to-back. That's complete speculation, but I've noticed the same thing you noticed. But we're getting a bunch of cheap Denver guys that have a lot of upside. So we're gonna the studs are gonna be in play. My dog's going crazy here. Sorry, take it away, Dean.
No worries, you're good. Yeah, we've seen in years past where Tatum just has those games where he takes over when Brown's not there, and maybe he does it tonight. Been kind of up and down this season for sure. We're looking at 2.7% as far as the ownership on Jason Tatum, so you can always fire on him in tournaments if you're playing. If you're MMAing, if you're firing off 150 lineups, like he's got to be in your pool. Is he in my main lineup? No. Is he in my first 4? Probably not. But there's going to be guys that we don't necessarily mention, and if you like them, they're probably still good. They're probably still fine. But mentioning every single name, how is that even helpful? You got anything else in this game, or shall we move on?
Let's move.
Yeah, I mean the Pascal stuff kind of mucks up Toronto, and the FEV price on DK I'm okay with, but no.
And he's gonna see Smart too. He's gonna have Smart attached to his hip tonight in this one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I mean the no Kyle Birch, but like with Siakam back, I was just sort of thinking from a perspective of Precious Achiuwa, but now not really necessary. All right, Milwaukee in the Garden, back-to-back 216 is the total, 4-point dog. The Bucks, the defending champions, are 4-point dogs on a back-to-back in New York tonight. Yeah, they're still without some pieces, obviously. There's been speculation, like you said, no indication they would rest maybe Jrue Holiday coming back from injury on a back-to-back, or Bobby Portis had an early injury in the season as well too. Giannis, they're playing him a fair bit of minutes. Great game last night in Philadelphia. Good. I mean, Philadelphia got the loss, but that their team played hard. Like the players they had out there, they made a game out of it. It was actually a pretty respectable showing by the 76ers this season, despite the fact they lost by 10 or so. Grayson Allen, by the way, like he's better than I thought he was. He's good. He's just he's turning himself into a better player. Really, really reliable 3-point shooter. I mean, I don't know if we can pay for him tonight, just sort of noting it. I don't know if you've been watching his development. Like he's been.
Certainly have. He's been insane actually in this little stretch, but the opportunity's been there for him because of all these guys out. But it was nice to see him coexist with Holiday last night, where they both still did well.
And he's just perfect in that team. It fits so well with the other pieces they have. So Giannis, we kind of referenced Giannis before. Easier to play on FanDuel. On DK you can, but it's not like super. It's tough. Whatever.
I mean 12-3. I mean we're looking back at the Russell Westbrook days when when Durant was out.
I ran some optimals pre-show, right? Let's see if he actually landed in any. I ran like 100 or so. How many did he land in? Giannis Antetokounmpo, 10%. He landed in 10% of my DK optimals that I ran on DraftKings, and now I'm going to look at it in FanDuel. As I do this, give me your thoughts as far as the Bucks, Giannis, and everybody else. Crazy eyes, right? Bobby Portis, assuming he starts again, that's the best play, is it not? When you consider salary.
Yep. I mean, when he's on the floor, this dude is soaking up usage. He's going crazy. He looked good last night against Philly. It's a tougher matchup for him tonight, depending on what happens with the big situation for the Knicks. I don't know if you expecting Robinson. I'm expecting Noel to definitely be out. I don't really.
He's not going to play. Yeah, I
don't have a take on Mitchell Robinson.
I feel the same way. I feel more confident that Nerlens is going to be out than Mitch Rob. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And if they're both out, like you said, defensively they're going to take a hit. And we might see like 30 minutes of Taj Gibson on the other side, which he's 3K on DK, which again, we have a lot of cheapies. There's no shortage of cheapies, but if he gives you like 19 or 20 or 21, that's probably not enough. But if he gives you 26, 28, 30, then it's interesting. Just a 13 gamer. There's so many players are going to have, big nights, obviously. Shuffle over, speak on that thought process. And if both are in, I don't want to really play anybody in New York. And again, you can always play Randall if you want to stack the game up. And by the way, FanDuel, Giannis, just to show the difference between the two sites, Giannis and I capped it at 72%. I said, I don't want any more than 72% of anybody. And Giannis landed in 72% of lineups on FanDuel. So it's a lot easier to make lineups on FanDuel. Just there you go. If you weren't aware.
Yep. Same thing. He's going to be pretty popular on Yahoo tonight as well. RJ Barrett is like the one, just from a price standpoint, the one Nick that, there's a lot of variance in his game and he's got to be playing well, but there's just minutes upside. He's got, in his last 5 games, he's got 2 games with 39 minutes and 40 in his last one. So if they're just rolling this guy out there forever, and so when he goes off and has a good game, and the Bucks aren't playing as good as defense right now, obviously most of their team is gone, but and they do get a little bit better on the defensive end with Holiday back again. We don't know what to expect from Holiday's minutes tonight, but RJ Barrett would be the one guy for me. And I don't really have, Randall I'd like, but I just can't stomach paying 10-3 on this slate for Randall on DK tonight.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, like you can always play him. And like, Tibbs probably defending champions in the Garden. That place goes nuts when they're playing those kind of games. And he might just get caught up and play 41 minutes of Julius Randle as opposed to 38 or 37 or 39. Yeah. Again, in your pool, if you're running 150 in my first 4 lineups, I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine doing that. You got anything else in this game it's worth talking about, or shall I move on?
Move on.
All right. Next game on the slate, Dallas or Chicago. 215 is the total. Chicago's a 4-point favorite here. The Dallas side is, whatever. You can play Luka Doncic. He's one of the stars on the slate. Another one of those stars that got a bump in price, 11.4K on DK. He's been like 10, 10-3, 10-4, 10-5. A big boost in his asking price. One interesting price on DK is Zach LaVine is 7.6. That seems a little bit too cheap, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Levine's the guy, and he is so good. I mean, he was so good against Brooklyn the other night. Yes, his overall fantasy points are down because of the situation that they're playing under, where they have three high usage players now on the court for most of their minutes together. But LaVine is clearly the guy. I mean, at 7,600, there's just upside. You could see a game where him and Luka both kind of go back and forth. But what is going on with Luka, by the way? Do you have a take on him? Man, he just has been so disappointing.
Luka, you're talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still early. I don't know. I'm not really. And he's had ups and downs. He's had some good games.
Yeah.
He made a nice walk off. I'm not ready to say like I saw somebody talking about on Twitter about the shots. They're talking about the breakdown as far as his shots in the paint, his shots outside, and true shooting percentage and all that. But it's still small sample stuff. I'm not ready to freak out about it just yet. But the shooting hasn't been great. There's really no way to run away from that. But we don't really care so much about that because this isn't, remember the old school draft street where you'd lose a half a point? I don't know if you're around for that. You lose a half point for missed shots.
I wasn't around for that. I was playing online poker around those times.
Yeah, but just as long as he keeps chucking, like whatever. Okay, if he misses, he's gonna chuck next time. And 21 shots, 25, 24. He's in the mid-20s pretty much every single game. So I think he'll be fine. But on this slate tonight, he's not a priority. There's other studs that are in front of him. I don't think anybody ranked him as far as like top 8 play when you consider salary. Maybe somebody did. Did you rank him? I didn't.
I don't think so. I mean, it's possible. I don't really remember, but I don't think so. There's just the pace doesn't stand out in this one as being that being good. The Mavs have been playing at a slow pace. The Bulls have been playing a little under league average pace. Then the Bulls have been playing good defense, man. They're 4th in defensive rating right now. They've got Lonzo's going to make things tricky for them. They're going to throw our boy Alex Caruso, and they've got a lot of different ways to defend on that team, and they've got a pretty good team. So I expect that. Basically, what I'm saying is I like the Bulls side of this game more. Maybe Porzingis, because I don't know really who could stop him in this matchup. And
like Porzingis can stop Porzingis is the problem.
Yes, of course, at any time, right? And like, and he dealt with some foul trouble in the last one against New Orleans. He only got 26 minutes. I don't know how much of that was related to fouls. Some of it certainly was, but we haven't seen a big minute game from him, so that's the problem. But the price is now coming down. 6,800 is certainly pretty reasonable.
By the way, the only guy that's really popping, like we kind of referenced on DK, 17% ownership for LaVine, next highest player projection. And this stuff changes. It's fluid. We still have an hour and 20 minutes. More news might trickle in. Is Porzingis and DeRozan and Doncic between 3% and 4%. So yeah, it's LaVine's the most popular player in this game, and then there's everybody else. Let's move on. OKC at New Orleans, 209 is the total. OKC 5-point dog. 2 of the worst teams in the association. 2 teams that, like, if you ask them privately, they'd probably both like to lose it. They'll take the L in this game. They're good with that. We're not really sure about Brandon Ingram just yet. If he plays, it's a slight hit to Josh Hart, slight hit to Valanciunas. Doesn't mean he's still not a good play. OKC should actually play a game where they're close in, and then that's a game where SGA kind of goes off. Best player on their team by far, not even close, not even a conversation. The rest of their rotations are kind of a mess. Like Bazley's had some good games of late, but to trust that, I don't think so. Giddey, he's had his moments too, but for me at OKC, it's just SGA, and I think it's on FanDuel specifically where his price is pretty good. On New Orleans, kind of a wait and see if Ingram doesn't go. Valanciunas, great tournament play. And you mentioned Hart. I think he's 15 on Yahoo as well. What do you have for me as far as this game? Did I basically summarize it? I don't know.
Yeah, and I just want to put a little emphasis about how much I really like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this one. I expect this game to be good. at least like competitive from each side. And, I've been following New Orleans Pelicans, and they've been getting crushed by opponent point guards, and they just don't have much in that way on the defensive end right now. Shea is going to be the guy that's just going to carry this team on his back. And I like some of the plays on the other side in this one. So I think this is a good game stacking game, like a little mini correlation stack here. So like with guys like Jonas, with Josh Hart, if he gets the boost, with and with Shea on the other side. And then, we can talk about Giddey on certain sites, because he does a little bit of everything. So you get a nice floor with him, although you didn't in his last game again. I guess we found out what the floor is against the Spurs in his last one, but he's perfectly capable of going 30 to 40 fantasy points in this spot. So, and his price is reasonable on all sites.
Charlotte and Memphis, big total. 228.5 is the total in that game. By the way, Bobby in chat. What up, Bobby? He said that it's Jason Kidd's fault. That might be true. Look, I don't want to go on a rant. We have no time for it. But when I saw that they hired Kidd, I'm like, bet Dallas under for wins this season. I thought it was a massive downgrade. But all right, Charlotte versus Memphis, 228.5 is the total. Charlotte is a 4-point dog. In theory, we're supposed to like plays. Terry Rozier is still a fabulous play on FanDuel. I think it's a good play on Yahoo as well. The pricing on FanDuel, he was not shooting, well, and he figured it out versus the Lakers. He's still going to keep chucking. Good matchup here versus Memphis. Steven Adams, I don't think I'm ever going to roster him again in the DFS. I think that's it. I think it's done. Like, they're kicking him off the court every single game. This is the game it feels like he'll get kicked off the court again. Triple J will run some 5. The tricky part is
there's coach speak there too, with talking about how they figured out that their best lineup is with Triple J at the center. So I think we're going to see more of that continue. Yeah, and I think that's great for DFS purposes. And let's hope that guy can keep his hands to himself and stay on the court. He's so frustrating to roster this guy. I don't understand how many games he's played in NBA that he can't not foul. It's like, I just don't understand it. I know he plays hard and but all of that, but like, he should be able to hold back and keep himself on the court. But he's young, he's developing, he's learning, but he's extremely skilled. This game is an amazing game stack game. This is like one of my favorite games of the night. Obviously, the Grizz 28th defensive rating, the Hornets 30th defensive rating. That's what we're looking at. This is like the perfect game for like the two teams that don't play any defense. The Hornets push such a fast pace that Memphis is going to be in a great pace up spot out running. There's tons of blocks and steal upside for all of them. They both don't defend the 3-point line. The Hornets are 29th in opponent made threes. The Grizzlies are 25th in opponent made threes. So like this, I love this game.
Yeah. So we just got done talking about New Orleans versus OKC. New Orleans is in the middle as far as defensive rating, worst defensive teams in basketball. New Orleans second worst, Charlotte the worst, and Memphis the third worst. For sure. It's really interesting. My issue with Memphis is they have a lot of guys, and Dylan Brooks, I assume he comes back tonight. Maybe he plays 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but he's going to muck it up to some degree. Several guys take hits, like Ja won't really take a hit, but a guy like Bane might take a small hit. And like you mentioned, a Triple J, this game's going to close potentially with Triple J versus Miles Bridges at the 5. Those are the 2 5s. We might see that. That could be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on board with those guys. I'm on board with all the plays in this game. I'm on board with Bridges, with Triple J. I'm on board with Rozier. I'm on board with Ja. Obviously, I love Ja. I'm on board with LaMelo. Those prices a little tough on DK at 10K. Yeah. But I guess like you can look for a little hope with Gordon Hayward. It's not fun usually, but certainly this is a game that could be competitive, and he could go off in. So just anyone except like the true bigs, like no thank you to Plumlee, no thank you to Steven Adams, and let's play all the other guys.
I think the game goes small and it gets fun. Highest ownership projection on DK. Jaren Jackson's price slowly crept up. He was just too cheap. Now he's 6'1", and I think they're still meeting that bone, especially how he thrives when he plays the 5, and we're projecting him to play the 5 because Steven Adams is just no longer suitable for basketball in 2021. Good run. I like Steven Adams, but it's just not happening anymore. Anything else this game, or shall we move on?
Move it.
Sacramento in San Antonio, 222.5 is the total. San Antonio is a 1-point favorite, so it's pretty high, pretty tight. Sacramento, we don't know. Is Halliburton going to play? Not sure. He's questionable. Also questionable is Terrence Davis. It's weird. Like, what do we get excited about if Halliburton doesn't go? We have our what if tool, And as far as our bumps, like Buddy Hield gets a bit of a bump. Rashawn Holmes, a little bit of a bump. Harry Barnes, a little bit of a bump. Nobody gets this drastic. Maybe Davion Mitchell draws a start or plays like 30 minutes or so. I believe he was in foul trouble that last game. If you're looking at the game log, kind of a I want to say a 3-and-D guy, but his 3 has not been spectacular just yet, but really good defensive player. Your thoughts as far as Sacramento? I know it's a tough question to answer, not knowing who's in, who's out.
De'Aaron Fox, man, finally came out of his shell and had a good game, which we were waiting for against somewhat tough matchup against the Phoenix Suns. This is certainly a game that he can do well against the Spurs. The Spurs are playing fast this season, you know, and they're young. So, and they also don't really have much in the way of defense down in the paint either. So I think it's a good spot for De'Aaron Fox. It's a good spot for Rashawn Holmes. I think there's going to be a lot of pick and roll in this game, and some potentially easy dunks for Holmes. And you know, Holmes is pretty consistent typically, although he struggled in his last 2 games. But if he's on the floor in this one, I like his chances to really be a nice play, especially on FanDuel and Yahoo. And then DeJounte, we got to talk about DeJounte, right? I mean, this kid is the absolute man.
I don't think he's going to get played.
Nope.
Like, yeah, he's still really good.
He's going to be like under 5% at this price.
We have him currently projected at 1% on DK because he's 9.7K. And people are like, I used to pay 7.5 for him, so I can't do that anymore. But he's justified that price tag, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's ridiculous when he's out there. He does everything. He gets you the steals, the blocks, he gets the assists, the points. I mean, I tout him every show that we've done together this season, and I play him pretty much every game. I'm not stopping tonight. Without
1.5 of the role, you know, Pirtle's not playing, obviously. No, Bates Diop is not a huge role, but he's a guy that eats some minutes. I don't know who would benefit from that. Young, maybe. Big Body Johnson, maybe. But are you enthused by anybody outside of Murray on the San Antonio side?
No, I'm not enthused. I think you can play Eubanks where you need to. I think you can play Thad Young if you need to. I'm not enthused. Derek White doesn't look very good to me. I guess like bigger games are probably coming in his future, but I just play DeJounte every time, so then I'm not stopping.
I got to pull up the FanDuel ownership because I know Fox is a really good price over there. I bet that's where
I do think this is a good spot for Keldon.
Yeah, I'm all right with Keldon too. Yeah, so Fox, we're seeing 7.4K in FanDuel, which I want to say that's the cheapest he's been all season. That's a really, really appealing price for him. We're looking at 22.4% ownership. So yeah, like him a good bit over there in FanDuel. As far as DK jumping around here, we have Barnes as the most popular play. He's been just rock solid. He's another one of those guys, Harry Barnes. I used to pay like, you know, when there was no multi-position versatility on FanDuel on a 6-game slate. It's like, I guess I'll play Harry Barnes at 4.7 and hopefully gives me like 25 points, like maybe. And, you know, more times than not, it was like 22 and it's just, it was never fun. But now he's awesome. He's great. He's turned into a good player and good for him.
We got some news rolling in here. So Nerlens Noel is out as expected. Mitchell Robinson's in.
How much is Mitch Rob? Is he worth playing or worth considering or no?
Yeah, I think
Probably
so.
Is he like 4-ish?
If he stays on the floor, what are the chances he stays on the floor in this one?
Yeah, he's another handsy guy. I mean, he's 4.3 on DK. Like, and he hasn't been great all year, but we've seen in years past.
They just got to play Taj Gibson, you know, whenever they can. So it's just the problem. But yeah, no, I can play Mitch up in here, especially without like Brolo. You know, if Bobby Portis seems like a pretty decent matchup for him. Right. Portis is going to be attacking him. So some block upside.
Yeah, I mean, but also some foul. It's this tricky thing. It's like you want your player to get blocks, but you also don't want him to get a foul. And it's like, don't go up for it, but get up, give me those 3 points or 2 points.
But the worst news is KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. is in.
Oh, I didn't expect that. That's surprising.
Yep.
Give me 20 seconds on what that changes.
I mean, I had more interest in the Rocket side with him out. So I don't think I could play some Kevin Porter Jr. in this game. This was a game I would have loaded up on if Porter was out.
I'll say that Detroit's going to get more steals because he turns the ball over about 12 times a game.
Well, I've already professed my love for Jeremy Grant tonight. So
Şengün's out, by the way, for Houston, for what it's worth. So probably, I mean, Wood was already fine. Maybe Tice, better chance he sticks around and gets more run, but he's always kind of fickle. I'm curious how we adjusted that. 3.7K. Like if they give him minutes, he can get you a cheap double-double. This is the game that's going to shape the slate. We don't know the starting lineup just yet. We kind of speculated at pre-show. We touched on it. 205 is the total. Wait, 205 is the game? Well, let's talk about it. 205, Denver at home versus Indiana. Indiana, 3-point favorite here. Now, no Karis LeVert, front end of a back-to-back for Indiana. Denver, of course, without their three studs. No Murray, no MPJ, no Joker. Yeah, so how many Denver Nuggets is too many Denver Nuggets? You know what? This is a good time to mention this because we were talking about this pre-show as well. We sent these over to Devin, and he's probably has it all set up for us. Let's mention Prize Picks because we got some Prize Picks winners over there. You sign up for Prize Picks, use the promo code Grinders with your first deposit for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. I've 6x my money in the first like 2 or 3 weeks of playing there. How about that, Curtis? Humble brag.
I got to sign up.
Yeah, it's there's edges, man. There's edges, and they're quick to. They're not always really that quick to change lines when news comes out. I played Khalil Herbert when the news came out that Montgomery was going to play. I had Herbert under 13 fantasy points. Like, come on, and that was like everything I tied to that. And, he played a little bit, and of course it could have happened. He could have got there, but they just did not adjust that to that news. Just stay on top of things. It's kind of fun. I've been enjoying it for sure. I asked for my first withdrawal the other day. All right. We had a couple winners today. Who do you like? It's in this game. Give me some Prize Picks winners you like.
You falling on hard times, Dean? You had to withdraw already?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to make sure the withdrawal process was smooth.
Actually, that's good. That's always a huge plus when it's like, oh man, that was first withdrawal was so quick and fast. You're like, anyway, I mean, you have to like this spot for Denver guys. I mean, they're all so cheap, and Jokic takes with him like the most insane usage. He runs the entire offense. He, puts up close to, 15 to 20 shots a night. So certainly this is huge news. So the guys that I expect, I mean, who are the offensive minded guys in this team that they're going to have to go to for offense? Barton. It's going to be Will Barton. It's going to be Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is also going to be facilitating, which is why I liked the over on his assists. And this is something we've seen out of him, point Aaron Gordon. They do have Monty Morris, and I expect he'll be pretty good. He's probable, right? Like he should be playing.
Yeah, my understanding he's going to be playing. He's definitely in the mix.
Yep. So and he can score. So I mean, I like all these guys. I like Monty. I like Will. I like Gordon. I probably take JaMychal Green over Jeff Green, but I could see being upset about that tomorrow.
Well, JaMychal's a better fantasy point better player, right? And the tricky part is trying to figure out the starting rotation. And we've seen it in the past. Where out of nowhere, like Bull draws a start. Like he's started for this team several times, and he maybe jumps in the rotation. And he's a good fantasy point better player, but he also might start and play 15 minutes. We've also seen that. We've also seen Bones Highland. His minutes have been getting ramped up for him more of late. We're currently only projecting him for 18, but if he plays 28, are you surprised? I don't think so. Do you have a starting lineup prediction? Like I don't really know. I've thought about this, and I'm like, I'm not really sure, and I'm probably going to guess wrong anyway. So I'm probably like just wasting energy.
Yeah. Let's wait and see what they give us. But I feel good about, I think it'll be Morris, Barton, Gordon, and maybe, do you think they put the two greens together?
They might. Yeah. I mean, at least one, the over under is 1.5 greens.
Yeah. So I think that would be the most logical to me, but they could end up shaking it up a little. So we'll have to wait and see.
Let me check what we have projected here in the our starting lineups page. Let's see what we have. It's pink, which means it's not officially locked in. You'll notice if you pull it up, it goes white in the backdrop when it's confirmed as the starting lineup. Yeah, we have Monty Morris, the point, PJ Dozier at the 2, Barton, Aaron Gordon, and JaMychal Green. So again, I think even if JaMychal doesn't start or Jeff doesn't start, they're still in play. Obviously, a little more excited if they're starting. Jeff Green's going to get some run. Highland gets some run. They still have Composer. They still have Bull. They have dudes like Austin Rivers is still lurking. Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how this goes down. How many Nuggets is too many Nuggets in a lineup?
I mean, it's all price dependent. It's there. I don't put a limit on it. I could honestly play all four tonight. I could play like up to four in a lineup and be completely comfortable with that. Let's just think about it. You could play both of the greens, right? Because they both should get a bunch of minutes and they're 3,200 and 3,400. Aaron Gordon is like one of the best plays on the slate, in my opinion. Will Barton is another one of the best plays on the slate, in my opinion. So I could play up to those four guys together.
By the way,
I'd probably prefer to have three, or have the two guys that I feel the most confident scoring, Will Barton and Gordon, and then one of the greens.
I was looking at I was distracted by the chat. They're talking about the props that I mentioned. They were actually on the props we put on the screen as well too, I believe. There's in the Prize Picks props are not legit. Like, no, those are the numbers, and the Khalil Herbert thing was that I quoted. That was for real. That was up there for at least several days, I believe. But yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't just make that up. I don't know. Just wanted to clarify that with Mr. Wade, Mr. D Wade, or maybe that's Dean Wade, who's hanging out before his game tonight for Cleveland. We're running out of time. We have 13 more minutes. We have 3 more games on layaway. Indiana, the Pacers. If Brogdon is a full go with LeVert out, he's a really good play. Do we assume he's a full go? And if you want to run it back, also, like, who's rebounding the ball for Denver? Like, why can't Miles Turner get like 18 rebounds in this game? Or Sabonis? Why can't Sabonis just smash tonight? The Nuggets are playing against another team. What do you think of the Pacers? And I really like Brogdon if they let him fully go, but he's coming back from an illness. I guess he's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think when you come back from an illness, you're either typically like ready to go or not. It's like, it's not like nursing the hammy back and giving him a little bit of time. I think he'll be fine. So I'm expecting Brogdon to be fine. Maybe he's a little weaker. Maybe he's a little whatnot, but I'm not sure how to expect anything other than normal minutes in this one for him. This game is kind of meh.
I'm seeing
from the Pacers side. I don't know. It's like how the Nuggets offense is going to be something to watch. They're all so cheap. So we got to play that, but there's going to be pace. Both of these teams play slow. There's probably going to be some feeling out ground. It is nice that LeVert is out. So, you can always play Sabonis. He makes a good run back. Miles Turner is certainly in play. He could just dominate in the paint, and, he's capable of lighting it up from three, and, so I could see him in this one, but Sabonis, Turner, Brogdon.
For Indiana, our highest projected player right now in Indiana is Torrey Craig at 9.8%. It's a revenge game. He's 3.1K. I've missed both Torrey Craig games this year. He had that game where he went absolutely insane. He had a career high in the second quarter or something like that. It's really, really hard to predict, but he will have an opportunity. I'll say that. It'll be on the court.
He's the revenge play of the day, no?
Oh, it's Christian Wood. Yeah. Man, I don't know what to do with
that. But it's the revenge plays are really when you're back in your own, sure, in Denver, like Torrey Craig. Wood's still at home. It's his house right now, so I don't think that I don't qualify like that.
Let's pick up the pace here, because this is Portland versus Phoenix. Portland on a back-to-back, 224 is a total. They're 5-point dogs. I don't like anybody in this game. I don't think it's a weird, the prices for McGee is caught up. The price for Kaminsky is caught up. They're both playable. Sure. We know that there's no Ayton still. Portland on the back-to-back, they're all kind of priced where they should be. Convince me. Tell me your favorite play in this game. Do you have one?
I think CJ is going to score. I think Booker's going to score. I think are we ever going to see Nurkic go off?
Why won't they unleash him, man? He's a lot of fun.
He did get 27 minutes and he did have a good game, and he should be able to, if it's Frank the Tank and JaVale McGee out there against them. I worry though, because for the back-to-back, so I worry about his minutes tonight, but if they just unleash this guy, he should be able to dominate.
Maybe they're thinking long-term, injury history and the playoffs and all that. I don't know if Portland's going to make the playoffs, but he's a guy that he's been fragile. Maybe they don't want to run him to the ground, which I guess I kind of get. I don't know. Anything else here?
I mean, Robert Covington's been playing massive minutes,
Yeah.
39 minutes last night.
Minutes equal money, but not all minutes are created equal, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
his shot will start going out. He's capable. I mean, maybe once he loses the face mask.
The on-off stats with the face mask.
Yeah,
I
need the face mask splits.
That would annoy me. I don't know.
Yeah, of course it would annoy me. I would like take 2 minutes and I would like throw the thing on the ground and say, all right, let's play, you know.
I feel like we've seen that before.
Yeah, we have. I can't remember who did it.
Somebody just chucked their mask. I can't do it.
I think it was LeBron who chucked his mask.
Was it LeBron?
Yeah, I think it was.
Minnesota Golden State 225.5 is a total. Golden State is an 8-point favorite. This is another game that, like, you know, there's a bunch of players that are fine. Minnesota, we're expecting Russell back, so they're fully stocked. You can always play Russell. You can always play Edwards. You can always play Cat. But I don't feel like any of them are necessary. I don't have a lot to say about this game. Like, I'm not going to besmirch Steph Curry. He's awesome, but he's also 11-7 on DK. Like, what are we doing with that? Yes, he scored like 80 fantasy points the other night. And he was fully worth it. But is that going to happen again tonight? Probably not. What do you have for me?
Not a ton. I mean, it's just tough to play from the pricing standpoint on this one, but like Cat is reasonable. Russell went off the other night, like absolutely against Memphis. You know, I think he's playable. Like I have to consider him on Yahoo. His price is cheap over there, so I haven't decided yet, but he's someone I've had to actually like contemplate. Anthony Edwards is the guy that's the guy I just end up on the Wolves. I just think the sky's the limit for him. I think I can't pay that price for Steph tonight, although he, 86 fantasy points. I mean, he was insane the other night, and he was like unowned, which is crazy. And
I had him in one lineup, but I think there was a similar dud. I can't remember who it was that I paired him with. Like the one guy I took a shot with, but whatever, who cares? It's 13 game slate. It's like bad beat stories. Nobody wants to hear that. Go ahead.
I mean, he's just insane. So, and Jordan Poole is like the guy that like makes the most sense from like a price upside standpoint. When Curry, takes a back seat, he'll have more of the offense on his shoulders. I don't know. It's kind of a fun game, but the pricing is a little tough.
Hey, Okoro starting for Rubio. Does that bother you? Garland, Okoro, Wade, Mobley, Allen. Rubio's still a good play, but he's probably
makes me like Garland the most.
Yeah, that probably helps. I mean, we're not playing Okoro, is he? I don't think we're playing Okoro.
I don't think I can, but what's his price? Is he min?
What does it have to be, like 3 on T?
And
yeah, like I don't think I'm playing Okoro, and I assume Rubio closes this game. I assume he's a closer. Just noticed that and figure it was worth bringing up. And you mentioned Poole before, and I gave my rant on Poole last show, and he just has to get there in points because he doesn't do much else. He could score 20 relay points and be a bust. Like, that's something that's possible. But he's also, a guy that can score 30 relay points and get there that way. All right. Do you have a thought there as far as the Cleveland thing before we move on? And I want to sneak one more game in and bring Devin on, who has some questions for us, because we got 5 minutes till crunch time comes up. Well, Devin's got to set up crunch time for premium members. They come on at 6:20. Any final thoughts as far as Golden State, Minnesota, or you want to talk about Miami and the Lakers?
Miami Lakers.
215.5 is the total. Miami is a 5-point favorite. Awesome matchup. We don't know about Bam Adebayo, currently questionable. We don't know about Tyler Hero, currently questionable. If Bam doesn't go, Dedmon becomes a phenomenal play. But do you have any spots remaining left? I don't know. You make your lineup accordingly. Give yourself some flexibility. Butler, awesome tournament play. Lowry, really good play on FanDuel, where he's pretty cheap, especially if one of those two dudes are out. The Lakers, it's about the two guys. I suppose you can chase Carmelo, but not a great matchup against Miami. Give me like 30 seconds to a minute this game.
All reports that I read said that like Bam is probable to play and on track to play. So I think we got to assume he's in. Tyler Hero is also probable. I know we kind of discussed that pre-show about the coach speak and whatnot, but I'm assuming they're in. So that takes away some of the appeal, but like, for some reason, I just want Tyler Hero. Like, I just feel like he's gonna. If this game, I think first of all, I think Miami is gonna win this game pretty easily. And if that's the case, I think I can just see like Hero like going off against some of these second unit Laker lineups that they throw out there.
So bad, yeah.
Yeah, they're atrocious. But and I think he's fine if it's competitive. He's good too. So he's a guy that I always cling to. But It'd be interesting to consider Bam, first night back. Price is down.
And people are not going to, I mean, again, I don't know. Like, I agree. I think he's going to play, but I don't know for certain, and nobody knows for certain. It looks like he's going to play, but the last game of the night, people don't like to sit around. They want to make plans and all that. So maybe he'll come in on their own. I think he will.
Oh, for sure he will. Yeah, 100%.
Devin, you got like 3 minutes of questions. Is it lightning round?
Pleasantries, blah, blah, blah. Great to see you both. All right, so let's jump into lightning round. Brandon wants to know, DK tournament, who's the best option for 6.8K?
So then we got to go. We already know six.
Well, Kirkies, you knock that out. You look it up, and I'll answer the next question.
Do you think Cavs are going to be chalky? I just took a look. Mr. Miami wants to know. It looks like outside of Mobley and Rubio, probably not, but we might get another
There's
update.
going to be some Garland.
Yeah,
there'll be some Garland, but that's about it. Yeah, those three. I don't think people are going to play Okoro or Wade like they shouldn't be.
Kirk?
Or Usman.
I don't know. I can't follow you already, but for the answer to that other question for 6,800, I like Tyler Hero.
Michael said, I woke up hoping it was Bones to Bowl season, but it appears to not be said season. If I'm playing 300 lineups, can I have Bowl in one?
Who?
Bowl.
Oh, Bull.
Yeah.
I mean, I want him starting, which he may. It's possible. Unlikely.
He might get some minutes.
All right, Morningwood, DK tournaments, Kirk, favorite spend up and value play. And while you're looking at that, Eric wants to know, DK tournaments, are we just stacking Denver and playing Rubio, Dean?
Yeah, I mean that's the chalk, right? Like you have to play some Denver. You can't. I don't think you can get by with zero Denver. This isn't baseball where a team gets shut out, like Curtis was talking about. They're still going to put up 90 points, maybe 95, maybe 110. Who knows? So yeah, I think you're supposed to play at least one of Gordon and Barton, possibly two, possibly one of the Greens. We want to see the starting lineup, but you can't really get away with it. And I'm not completely freaked out with Rubio not starting, but I think he's, loses a couple minutes, probably projected for 31, 32. But, he's still fine, but not going to play the 35 he may have projected him for.
I'm shaking in my shorts. Kirk, you got those two players?
Yeah, my favorite spend up, who's like just a little bit from the top tier, is Jonas Valanciunas tonight. I think he's going to have a solid night. My favorite value, I guess, if we're considering Aaron Gordon, would be my favorite value on the slate. Right. That answers it.
Kirk, we're going to.
By the way, Jared Allen is going to be somewhat owned too. 7.4% projected on FanDuel. I didn't mean to neglect him as well.
For sure. Oh, and FanDuel, a little bit of Garland too, but that might update. Kirk, sticking with you, FanDuel tournament. K-Mac wants to know Rozier or Barton.
Barton. Barton.
Both great plays on FanDuel tonight.
Touching on the Okoro news, Eric wants to know, am I wrong for not liking Rubio as much with Okoro being back? He'll take minutes, right?
It just shows how sharp Eric is. He was already on it.
Before the news even hit.
He called it.
Yee Holio, is Kirk still high on DeJounte Murray?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little tougher with the price, but the ownership makes up for it. And so if this slate doesn't pan out the way, play some DeJounte Murray.
All right, just a couple of quick questions left. We're at the end of the time here. Morningwood wants to know, DK tournament last man in, Jarrett Allen or Fred VanVleet? I think Kirk answered Allen, right?
Yep.
And Eric wants to start a new question segment. Am I a fish for fading the Nuggets?
Like fully fading him? Yes. Yes. Like, come on. You can't fully fade Denver. You can't.
The definitive yes. We'll see. All right, well, that's
Kirk,
yeah, Kirk, give us an answer. We're out of time.
I can't call Eric a fish. He's too sharp for that. So
hypothetically,
you're going to want somebody. I mean, somebody's doing well on Denver. Somebody. So.
All right, Dean, take us home.
There's going to be two Nuggets in the final winning lineup. I don't know. I wonder what the number will be. I'm curious. I want to keep an eye on that for sure. Do watch Crunch Time if you guys are premium members. Andy Means, Kevin Roth, taking you guys off the lock. If more news breaks, they will break it down for y'all, taking you guys straight up the lock. And get yourself premium. It's in chat. Go ahead and click that link. Just basketball, $10 off the first month, or all the sports, with the exception of NASCAR, $10 off as well. That was Devin producing. How was my time today, Devin? By the way,
you killed it, Dean. Yeah. Hit that like button in chat for Dean's time management. The one time out of the year we get it.
I wanted some accolades on the show. You never give it to me behind the air. All right. Yeah, that was basketball. That was Kirk Dees. That was Devin producing. Thanks, chat. Hit that like button, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff. We're out of here. Holler.